It's not very good, is it? And that's putting it kindly. Oh, honey, it's official. Netflix has finally done what we all kind of saw coming. Season 2 of With Love, Meghan is dead, canceled, buried, not returning. And honestly, the drama behind this decision is more gripping than the show ever was. From the moment With Love, Meghan was announced, the internet collectively braced for impact. For some, it felt like the inevitable migraine you know is coming, but dread all the same. And now it's officially crashed and burned in a cloud of staged charity, cringeworthy virtue signaling, and Netflix execs muttering, "What on earth were we thinking?" Let's not sugarcoat it. This was supposed to be Meghan Markle's big redemption arc, a rebranding extravaganza, a global soft launch of Saint Meghan, humanitarian queen and visionary princess of vibes. But girl, the internet said, no thanks, real quick. And now, after months of whispers, Netflix has pulled the plug hard. Like, rip out the cord and burn it to ash hard. At first, it looked like a multi-million-dollar fairy tale, sparkly production budget, full PR push, and a narrative that screamed, "Look at me saving the world." But oh baby, what Netflix thought they were greenlighting was heartwarming authenticity. What they got was a Hollywood fantasy wrapped in a halo of emotional manipulation. What began as a glittering multi-million-dollar content deal, a chance for Meghan Markle to rebrand herself as a humanitarian, thought leader, and modern-day media mogul, has now dived into one of the most humiliating PR implosions of her post-royal life. Netflix, once standing proudly behind the Sussexes' authentic storytelling, has now pulled the plug on Season 2 of With Love, Meghan. And the reason? A cocktail of deception, vanity, and what insiders are calling outright manipulation of both the audience and the platform. Whew! Humiliating is putting it mildly. Insiders are spilling hot tea left and right, like boiling. This wasn't a docuseries. This was one woman's vanity project dressed up in borrowed activism. Heartfelt? Nope. Authentic? Please. Turns out it was all scripted, choreographed, and sprinkled with just enough staged vulnerability to fool us, until it didn't. At the core of the chaos is one glaring issue. The show wasn't real, literally. Multiple insiders from the production have come forward pulling back the royal purple curtain to reveal a meticulously choreographed image-building campaign masquerading as a docuseries. According to leaked reports, scenes allegedly depicting Meghan's charity work were entirely fabricated. One especially damning moment featured Meghan volunteering at a children's literacy center, except the children were paid actors. The volunteers, her personal assistants in borrowed cardigans, and the donations quietly returned after filming wrapped. Wait, paid actors? Are you kidding me? They literally cast children to fake a charity moment. Let that sink in. Meghan volunteered at a center that was more Hollywood set than community outreach. Her volunteers, her own assistants playing dress-up in thrifted sweaters, and the donations, quietly packed up and taken back once the cameras stopped rolling. Oh, the audacity. Netflix thought they were backing a meaningful story, but what they got was a polished, high-gloss PR fantasy. And when the masks fell, legal sirens started blaring louder than Meghan's voiceover narration. Netflix executives were said to be livid, not just because they'd been duped, but because it violated documentary ethics in the most public, humiliating way possible. One insider revealed the internal panic was immediate. They realized too late that Meghan was producing a scripted drama and calling it reality. We were sold a vision of authenticity, and what we got was a reality show with wardrobe changes and child actors. Netflix execs? Livid. Red in the face, heads will roll kind of livid. This wasn't just embarrassing, it was an ethical disaster. A documentary with outfit changes, staged crying, and fabricated scenes? Yeah, that's not how reality works. And get this, remember that touching moment when Meghan cried while clutching Archie's toy on a sunlit couch? Faked. All of it. Crying sounds were added later, lighting was manipulated, music swelled, but the actual raw footage? Not a single tear, not even a misty eye. This was not vulnerability. It was performance. It was cinematic fraud. And baby, Netflix's legal team was not having it. Behind the scenes, Netflix's legal team began to scrutinize the content more closely and found even more red flags. In one episode outline, Meghan accuses an unnamed senior royal of emotionally abandoning her during her pregnancy. But when fact-checkers asked for documentation, there was nothing. No timeline, no witnesses, no emails, no corroboration whatsoever. So now the legal team starts digging, right? And it just keeps getting worse, like bottomless pit kind of worse. In one episode pitch, Meghan accuses a senior royal, yes, unnamed but come on, of emotionally ghosting her during her pregnancy. A huge, explosive claim, except when Netflix's fact-checkers asked for receipts, crickets, no evidence, no emails, not even a vaguely plausible timeline, nada. Netflix legal circled that one with a fat red marker. Potentially libelous, they said. Yikes. The pressure? Immediate. The segment? Yanked. But the trust? Oh, honey, that left the building and slammed the door on its way out. And then, like a bad twist in a bad movie, it gets even messier. Enter the plagiarism. Yes, plagiarism. Attorneys immediately flagged the segment as potentially libelous. Buckingham Palace hadn't commented yet, but the potential for legal fallout was real. Under pressure, Netflix yanked the scene, but the trust gone. Meghan's truth had crossed the line into fiction and the damage was done. And then there's the plagiarism. Yes, plagiarism, one of the most emotional monologues in the show in which Meghan recalls being racially profiled at a grocery store, turns out to be almost word for word identical to a viral Reddit post from 2017. Remember that emotional monologue where Meghan tearfully shares her trauma about being racially profiled at the grocery store? It was moving, it was raw, it was powerful, it was copy-pasted. From Reddit. I kid you not. That scene was almost word for word from a 2017 viral post by someone else. Same story arc, same emotional punchline. The only difference? Meghan delivered it on camera like it was her own memory. And that was just one example. Netflix's internal team went into overdrive. And what they uncovered? Multiple scenes, multiple emotional stories, all suspiciously similar to online testimonials, blog posts, even Twitter threads. One staffer called it emotional plagiarism. Like, who does that? Same setup, same emotional arc, same twist ending. The only difference, Meghan presented it as her own lived experience. Netflix's internal fact-checkers began scrambling, and what they found was shocking. Multiple scenes in the series bore eerie similarities to other people's stories. Online blog posts and public testimonials, often retold by Meghan with dramatic flair and zero attribution. Emotional plagiarism, one staffer called it, an intentional effort to co-opt others' pain for performative vulnerability. And the drama? Oh, we're not done. Because behind the scenes, things were turning full-on toxic. Morale on set non-existent. Some team members allegedly refused to return for the second season. Netflix tried to bring in conflict resolution specialists. Yes, actual specialists. But by that point, the production had descended into a swirl of diva demands, rewrites, and reputational risk. It wasn't just the show that was falling apart, it was the whole production. Staff were jumping ship. Morale non-existent. Netflix even brought in actual conflict resolution specialists like it was a war zone, and honestly, it kinda was, because Meghan wasn't just the face of the show. She was controlling it, every detail, every font, every line. One poor assistant got humiliated over, wait for it, a mislabeled snack container. Yes, a snack container. Another crew member said Meghan would demand last-minute changes that unraveled weeks of approved edits. It wasn't a set, it was a dictatorship. One producer called it a documentary by dictatorship. Oof. That one had to sting. And it's not just the crew that was backing away. Even Meghan's inner circle said, no ma'am. Remember the big-name interviews she promised? Oprah, Serena, Ellen, Michelle Obama, none of them showed up, not even close. One producer, in a moment of brutal honesty, called it a documentary by dictatorship. Ouch. But perhaps the most telling sign that things had gone terminal, Meghan's so-called inner circle refused to touch the project. Early drafts of With Love, Meghan included interview wish lists with Oprah, Serena Williams, Ellen DeGeneres, and even Michelle Obama. The goal was to show Meghan's influence, her reach, her sisterhood. But not one of them agreed to participate. Not one, not a single one of Meghan's so-called ride or dies wanted anything to do with it. Some gave creative differences. Others just ghosted. And Oprah? Whew. Word on the street is she was deeply concerned about the whole tone of the show. That's PR speak for, this is messy, and I want no part of it. Translation: even Hollywood's royalty saw this ship sinking from a mile away, so Netflix did what Netflix does best, cut their losses. The internal memo that leaked was savage. She is a reputational liability, it read. Her content lacks credibility and is eroding audience trust. Not just a cancellation. That, friends, was a public corporate exorcism. And while Netflix was busy cleaning house, Meghan, oh, she was still performing, smiling like nothing had happened. Gliding through appearances like she hadn't just been dropped like a hot PR grenade. But Harry? Oh no, Harry wasn't acting anymore. He wasn't glowing, he wasn't even present. He looked defeated. During the Eastby's event, as Meghan shined and smiled for the flashing lights, Harry looked like a man who'd wandered onto the wrong stage. And the crowd, they noticed. And girl, when you lose the spark in your eyes, that's not media fatigue, that's emotional burnout. And Twitter, they had a field day. Clips started going viral left and right. One in particular, oof, it hit hard. In the video, Harry turns to walk off stage. Meghan nudges him just enough to reposition for the cameras. Her smile, perfect. His face, cold, not blank, cold. as if he realized, this moment isn't for us, it's for the optics. But the worst part? After the event, sources say Harry was seen outside, pacing on the phone, angry, emotional. According to a production staffer who overheard it, he said this: "I did what you asked. It's never enough for you." Let that sit for a moment. That's not a couple having a bad day. That's a man unraveling. The call lasted barely 90 seconds, but when Harry came back inside, red eyes, clenched fists, and reportedly he kept his distance from Meghan the rest of the night, unless the cameras were nearby. Classic damage control. But here's the thing. This isn't just about one show or one event. This is years in the making, because Meghan's rebranding strategy hasn't just reshaped their public image, it's reshaped Harry's entire identity, and he's cracking under the weight of it. Angela Levin didn't hold back. In a recent segment, she said, "Harry has become unrecognizable. This isn't just stress. This is soul-deep exhaustion." And it shows. Behind the curated smiles, the polished podcast appearances, the filtered Instagram moments, there's something crumbling. And Meghan, she's pushing forward lifestyle brands, media tours, A-lister events. Harry, he's fading. Unless she needs a +1 and people around them, they're noticing. Even Harry's longtime friends have slowly started to drift. Elton John, who's basically family, hasn't been seen with him in over a year. Soho House regulars whisper that Harry feels unreachable. One associate summed it up like this: "He used to be the guy cracking jokes, buying drinks. Now he's quiet, robotic, like the light's gone out." And you don't need to be a royal expert to know this isn't sustainable. What happened at the Eastbys wasn't a glitch, it was a symptom of emotional wear and tear, of identity loss, of being the background character in your own life. And maybe the most heartbreaking part? Behind palace doors there are murmurs. Charles, William, they're worried. Yes, even after everything, because despite the drama, they're still family, and they're watching their brother, their son, spiral in front of the world. A former royal aide even told The Telegraph, "They're not just watching the headlines, they're watching Harry disappear in real time." But Meghan's camp? Oh, they're not staying quiet. PR machines immediately started flooding the media with praise. Harry was poised, heroic, elegant. But those glossy words didn't match the footage, because the truth? It's in the silences, the glances, the shifts in body language, the hesitation before a sentence, the long blink before a fake smile. So now the question everyone's afraid to ask: how much longer can Harry keep pretending? Angela Levin ended her broadcast with a chilling statement. "We could be witnessing the unraveling of a man who no longer knows who he is and is too afraid to admit it. Because to do that would mean admitting that everything he sacrificed may have been for nothing." Read that again. Because that's where we are. Behind the flashing lights, the red carpets, the glitzy award shows, stands a man who once gave up everything in the name of love, who gave up a crown, a country, a family. And now he stands beside someone who's still climbing, while he quietly fades. Not because he failed, but because somewhere along the way he stopped being Harry and started playing a part he never wanted, and the scariest part? He's starting to realize it.